Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now December 20th of 2023. We are just a couple of days away from the release date of Aquaman 2, The Lost Kingdom by director James Wan. It debuts on December 22nd, which we all know the projections box office wise have not been looking good at all for Warner Bros. For CEO David Zaslav, because this is projecting to do worse than the Marvel's box office and what it garnered worldwide. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So, we know going into this film, we have stars like Patrick Wilson, Jason Momoa, and, well, let's not forget about the controversial Amber Heard. After what happened during the Johnny Depp trial, after all the comments that she made post-Johnny Depp trial, there's been a lot of things going on between Amber Heard, director James Wan, and, of course, the heads over at Warner Bros. There's a lot to discuss here, so let's jump right into it. Now, given that Aquaman The Lost Kingdom serves technically as the final DC film to kind of end things off with the DC universe as we all know it, before we head into James Gunn and his universe of the DC franchise, so to speak, with, of course, new Superman, with new Batman, new everything, basically. They're kind of revamping the DC universe. But what's interesting about all of this is Amber Heard and her stance against the fan backlash, against all the criticism going against this movie, and basically how the general public views Warner Bros.' latest attempt at a DC movie within the, of course, Aquaman story. So let's get into this further. Now, of course, with Amber Heard set to return in DC's biggest box office failure yet, Aquaman 2 The Lost Kingdom, one major development has to do with Amber Heard and her reaction to the fan backlash and criticism through director James Wan, where he went on to deliver the following. All I can say about Miss Heard is that she is extremely upset and feels betrayed about her followers and loyals that previously supported her in the first film that we had created before everything of what happened afterwards. She believes that this is too personal in her career right now, and it's something that is undeserved for herself as an actress. I mean, getting the chance to direct this follow-up has been the thrill of a lifetime, and it was something that was also bittersweet because, you know, it's the end of the DC universe as we all see it, but Amber and Jason have had so many difficult moments when filming this thing. I had the chance to speak with Amber recently, and she feels that DC fans just need to take a step back and remain quiet. She's really not taking this very well, and I can only speak for what she has told me, but yeah, I mean, Amber feels that this film, through the studio heads, wasn't necessarily fair to her and the performance that she gave. I mean, yes, we did minimize her role, but it is in no way a major one, as some fans are pointing out. I would like to say that she has a moderate role in this film, and Amber is just fatigued over negative criticism that is undeserved before a film has even arrived in theaters yet for the public. We were talking about the financial situation of this film, and one thing Amber did point out that I think is valid is that too many fans and supporters rush to projections way too fast. Amber just wants the negativity to stop, and that it's very childish. And yes, I will confirm she and Jason had some differences on the set that made things more difficult as a director. This in turn created some setbacks for us during principal photography, and especially for scenes featuring Patrick. Amber is very proud of her moderate role in the sequel, and I think she did an exceptional job with her performance as Mira. She reassured me and the fans of how overly demanding they can be in nature when it comes to something controversial, especially to jump into conclusions way too fast. Now guys, let me just pause here quick before I get to the next big thing about this. Now, it seems like James Wan is somewhat of an apologist for Amber Heard and what she did against Johnny Depp. I don't know about you guys. I mean, he could very well be paid and forced to say these things by the Warner Brothers heads, but as of late, I'm not too shocked about the way things are going by director James Wan, by David Zaslav, and how he's handling this PR nightmare, mind you. I mean, this is really not going well for Warner Brothers right now. Aquaman The Lost Kingdom tracking to do worse than the Marvels is something that you don't want to be connected with, even if you're Jason Momoa. This is going to live on with him forever. And look, what's great about Jason Momoa is he's got that charisma, right? He's got that real charm as an actor. It really kind of just gravitates toward the general public. I don't think he's gonna lose acting gigs over this per se, but I do believe it's gonna carry on with him for the years to come before it's forgotten, right? So, you got him, you got Patrick Wilson, which is a lower grade actor in my opinion than Jason is. That's just my opinion. But when you look at Amber Heard, she's done. I mean, she's shot. I mean, this is basically her last blockbuster film, if you even want to call it that. Her last movie that is universally recognized, I guess you could call it like that, right? This movie's not going to make money, period, the end. We already know that the Warner Brothers board of directors are freaking out over this feature, and that's why a lot of damage control is being thrown into this movie continuously, day after day, leading up to December 22nd, once it drops in theaters. And already, you know, reviewers that got the chance to go ahead and see this movie ahead of time aren't really all too fond of the story. I'll talk about that a little bit later, but moving onwards, he goes on to conclude, but working with her, Patrick, and Jason was a unique experience apart from my other films. Interesting. And the interesting thing that Amber brought up to me was how relentless fans can be and how we live in a culture where they enjoy failures. And I do agree with Amber that this needs to calm down a bit. I mean, people are open to their opinion, but it becomes a problem when it gets in the way of the talent's work, such as Amber. To my understanding, this is Amber's last major film for the foreseeable future, and she feels wrongfully ridiculed by DC fans for no particular reason that's too connected to her personal life. So again, this is exactly what I keep bringing up, is that James Wan, once again, comes across as an apologist of Amber Heard and the actions that she made against Johnny Depp. But look, I respect James Wan and the films that he has made before in the past, but saying this and really putting this at the forefront is not the thing to do. Again, this could be forced by Warner Brothers, this could be exactly what James Wan believes in, who knows, but what he is confirming is how Amber Heard feels behind the scenes, what she's going through, and how she's taking all this criticism and backlash and pointing the finger at DC fans for really kind of jumping to conclusions too fast, and how this is getting too personal and this and that. And I think at the end of the day too, when you look at Warner Brothers and the direction that they are heading in, especially with what happened with Wonka, a lot of, you know, people dislike that movie from what I have noticed. When you look at Amber Heard though, this is not good because we know that they kind of did a bait and switch. She was supposed to have a super minimal role in this film, and as it turns out, she does have quite a larger role than expected. And that's why James Wan continuously keeps calling it a moderate role, not a major role. We know a lot of trades out there are calling it a major role right now, and James Wan is kind of trying to backtrack that, calling it a moderate role. Alright, so there's a lot of things going on with this, and I would like to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.